Hi there, everybody, and welcome back to another horrid episode of Goonies World. I am Johnny Pharaoh, also known as Sean, and with me is Meanie, also known as Ryan.
Oh, well, hello.
And, of course, we have our namesake, the man who had the idea for this show in the first place, Goonie, also known as Colin.
Greetings.
And one of our favorite guests, we have the lovely Lunicorn, also known as Lynn.
Hello, hello.
So we are playing our second episode of Horrid Mysteries, a pamphlet of gothic horror by Jacob Marks. It's a very rules-light game. You can find it on itch.io. And in our last episode, we generated our characters and set up the situation live, which we've never done. And the short version of all that is that my GM character, Erasmus de Rip, has summoned Colin's and Ryan's and Lynn's characters to a mausoleum in a graveyard in Sourshire in Britain in the 1920s. And what all those characters have in common is that the demon Firiel has been a curse in their life. And they're gathered here to confront the demon and revenge themselves upon it. But let's go around and reintroduce our characters. And why don't you give us your name, your calamity and your boon, and remind our listeners why you need revenge on the demon. And let's go ahead and start with you, Lynn.
All right, well, my character is Orchid Caliver. She is a Southern belle. Though her calamity is that she's insane, and when she goes insane, she sounds more like Miss Piggy and suddenly loses her Southern accent. We're not sure what's up with that. Let's see. She has occult knowledge. That is her boon. And her beef with this demon is that it ran off with her, at least she thinks it did, ran off with her fiancé, Bartholomew Winslow, and she was left at the altar. So she wants revenge on this demon that she refers to as an evil succubus.
And she is...
Don't know if it's really an evil succubus or not.
And she's wearing her wedding dress, right? The wedding dress
she's wearing her wedding dress for this confrontation, because she absolutely believes that when the demon is summoned, then Bartholomew will be there as well.
Okay.
She just thinks they're a couple and ran off together and are now, basically the demon has taken her place.
Okay.
So.
All right. Goonie, tell us all about your character. Remind our listeners about your buddy, Chadwick.
Yeah, Chadwick Southwark was his name, and he is a coward, and but he does possess scientific knowledge, and he believes that he was possessed by this same demon, Firiel, which made him do and say horrible things to his wife and his young son. And he also claims that that the demon made him sleep with prostitutes, which is questionable, but maybe. But he certainly did things that were out of character.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he wants revenge, or at least he wants to stop this demon from possessing him.
Okay. And finally, Ryan, can you remind us about your character?
Well, yeah, I'll do it in character, but my name's Percival Skullbeck, and I don't really believe in the demon that much, but I was supposed to be on the Titanic, and I gave my ticket up, and according to a fortune teller, the demon sunk the Titanic trying to get me. So if it's really out there, I want to get it. I want to kick it right in the balls.
Right. Yeah. And you're gonna.
I didn't forget what my calamity was, though.
You were a nihilist. That's why you don't really believe.
That's right. That's right.
Believe in nothing.
That's right.
Yeah, and I believe last time we did establish that if the demon didn't have balls, what was your exact words? You would boot her in the cooter.
Yes, a phrase which I borrowed, as you may well remember, from our friend Nougat.
Okay, I had forgotten that. Nougat, I know you're not listening, but if you were, I would say hello. And it'd be great to have Nougat on sometime. A friend of ours from way back who was always fun to play with.
I would love that.
Yeah, that would be great. So, anyway, you guys had all gathered here in this mausoleum during a thunderstorm in the middle of the night, and after much discussion and some accidental spilling of holy water and accidental discharge of a firearm, you had coated the ancestral sword that Dirip had with the saliva of a virgin. Luckily, we do have at least one virgin here. Orchid spit all over the sword, and I believe that you also coated the remaining 5 bullets in Chadwick's revolver with...
We dropped that, actually. We dropped the holy water when we failed.
Well, I mean, you did, but I think you coated the rest of the bullets with the spit, though.
Oh, with the spit,
She sucked on the bullets. Yeah. She went on a date with Phil Spector and sucked the bullets. That was the worst joke ever. I apologize. I'm so sorry for that. Anyway, the idea being that this saliva of a virgin would be harmful to the demon, and Orchid knows this with her occult knowledge. Now, Dirip has claimed to have a lot of occult knowledge, but you noticed he needed your help to summon a demon. Real briefly, he's supposed to be... He was a character designed just like yours were, and his calamity was that he had visions. He suffered from visions. And his boon was that he would betray the party. Why that's a boon, a good thing for him, I don't know. But all very transparent, all very upfront from the beginning. Your characters obviously don't know it, but he's destined to betray you somehow. Anyway, you had laid out a circle of salt, I believe, in the mausoleum. You're going to summon the demon and bind it within the circle of salt, because as we all know from the Winchester brothers, your demon cannot pass over a line of salt, and so hopefully that will keep the demon contained. And so that's where we'll begin, in the middle of the night, in a thunderstorm, in a candlelit mausoleum, summoning the demon Firiel. And I don't see what could go wrong. I mean, it should be fairly straightforward. So now we must figure out, says Erasmus, a chant to summon the demon. And it is hard, very, very difficult to decide exactly what to do. But I do have my book of demonology here, and our dear friend Orchid does have some occult knowledge. So perhaps we should take a look and find the appropriate chant.
Last time, I mean, just a moment ago, I had suggested that, say, a simple rhyme. I believe I said something like, Firiel, get Hiriel, but I think we should change that slightly, maybe to make it sound nicer, like we summon you, Hiriel, or something. Make it more even, but now I have no idea if that will work.
Well, it might work. It has a rhyme to it and a certain rhythm. And
what about, like, Firiel, join us here in the material.
Oh.
But leave off plain because it don't rhyme.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
Well, perhaps we should check perhaps our good... Go ahead,
sorry,
sir.
Just going with this rhyming thing, I like ethereal, something... Is that a word, ethereal?
Ethereal, yes, it is a word.
Ethereal to material or something.
Yes.
Ooh, I like that very much. Yeah, ethereal to material. I can't think of anything else that rhymes, though.
Well, perhaps we should check our book of occult knowledge here. Perhaps Orchid would be so kind and see if that will be an appropriate chant to summon our enemy.
I will be happy to.
Okay. Now, this, normally you'd have to draw a face card or a joker to succeed on a task. That's really only a 26% chance with a full deck, which we don't have. However, if you have a boon that could help, such as occult knowledge, then that raises to you need a red card or a joker, which gives you a 52% chance. But if it's real easy, and it should be, because you've also got the Book of Demonology, and you just need to draw a number card or a joker, which gives you a 78% chance of success. So, I will remind our listeners that we've got a little bit more than half a deck of cards left, but when the deck runs out, Firiel wins in the most horrific way possible. So Lynn is reaching through the internet onto my desk, drawing a card, and she has the Queen of Spades, which is not a number card or a joker, so you have no idea whether your chant is really going to work or not. Oh dear, says Erasmus. And this is after 15 or 20 minutes of flipping through the books, and perhaps we should just do the chant that you've come up with. It does have a certain ring to it. As I told you, in my youth, which was not that long ago, I had summoned Firiel, but I had help, and that help is no longer available to me. And I am aging rapidly now because of that. But there was a chant, and I do believe it rhymed. It was in Latin, but perhaps this would work. Perhaps
Yes.
you would care to give it a try.
I think the intent, perhaps, is most of it, and the the language and the words and all that are maybe sort of more inconsequential. So,
Well, do you reckon you got to believe for it to work? Because that might be a bit of a problem.
well, there's three of us that believe it, anyways.
Yes, and we can also try to place a pentagram on the ground where we would like the demon to appear. That perhaps that negative symbol would entice it and attract it along with our chants.
I think that's an excellent idea. Perhaps one of you should draw the pentagram within the circle of salt. But be careful not to break the circle.
Yeah, you don't want to get assaulted.
How humorous.
Well, what do you guys have to write with? Let's see here. Maybe there's some lipstick. Do you think Orchid has some lipstick?
I do, of course.
Okay.
The lady always carries some lipstick in her purse.
Okay, well, we're not going to make you draw a card just to, draw a pentagram. But with the pentagram drawn, so if I have this correct, says Erasmus, we're going to chant Firiel, Firiel, get Hiriel, from ethereal to material. Was that correct?
Yeah, I think that's plenty. I think we've done a good job coming up with as much rhyming words as possible.
Well, do you think we should add on to the end that after I kick her in the balls, not to give my foot a venereal?
Well, you stand the chance of very angrily, a angry greeting from this demon.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. I don't want to piss her off. It don't be good to start off with an angry demon, I don't imagine.
And I would be very worried for your foot if that was the case. The venereal diseases of hell are far worse than anything you can possibly comprehend. I am quite certain. Not that I would know. However, let us begin. And he takes your hands. The candles are flickering. The thunder roars outside.
Wait.
What?
Before we start, I should like to spread the train of my wedding dress behind me so I look like a proper bride.
Oh, very well, very well.
Do you really believe that Bartholomew's coming back with the demon?
Of course I do. Why wouldn't he? Slut stole him and made him her own.
Well, maybe they're mid-coitus right now. You don't want to see that.
How dare you?
So, repeat after me. Well, I'll say it once, then we'll join in together. We must all chant and hold hands or it won't work. Firiel, Firiel, get Hiriel, from ethereal to material. Firiel, get Firiel.
Firiel.
From ethereal
Ethereal
to
to
material.
Material.
Firiel. Get Firiel. From
ethereal to material.
I'm so glad we're not starting a band.
That's so fucking hard to do in sync
Some
over
of
the
you
fucking latency of the internet.
Some of you were
Someone should have brought a metronome.
This mausoleum's really
speaking-
stopping the signals of the internet. Yes.
Some of you were deliberately speaking very slowly, I believe.
Well, nevertheless, maybe it is the intent. Maybe it's just the intent. Maybe it's the pentagram. Who knows? But suddenly, your hair stands up on end, and your ears pop, like the pressure is changing in the room, and there's the pentagram itself, drawn in the lipstick, begins to glow, and suddenly, without any fanfare, without any pillar of smoke or explosion, there is standing in the middle of the pentagram, in the middle of the circle, the demon Firiel. Now, the demon can appear however the demon wants. Right now, the demon appears as a classic red-skinned, voluptuous, winged succubus with horns and a tail. The demon girl we'd all like to imagine, just like all the drawings in the old-school D&D monster manuals that titillated a whole generation of 13-year-olds and aroused so many juvenile passions. And the second that happens, though, Erasmus, he cries out, "Blessed Firiel, I have brought you the 3 souls you required. Take them to the 9 circles of hell and release me from our bargain." Indeed, he has betrayed the party, and he's the one who happens to be holding the sword covered with virgin spit. And Firiel just smiles and licks her hand and then rubs it across her brow the way a cat might. And but unfortunately, you also do not see your beloved Bartholomew. And just thank you, Erasmus. You've been such a good boy. Oh, anything for you, anything. Well, take them now. And he's starting to back away from you guys holding the sword. Does anyone want to do anything?
You dirty double-crosser.
Without saying anything, I'm just going to rush. How close is he to me?
Close enough to do what I think you're going to do.
Well, yeah, well, I was just going to fucking tackle him, or not even tackle him, just like grab the sword out of his hands and give him a swift kick.
Okay. In the balls. Right, because I knew you wanted to kick someone in the balls.
Thematically.
Well, rush over and do that. I say that, and you have fighting ability too, so you have a boon that would really help this, make it a lot easier. And so let's go ahead and draw your card. We need a number card or a joker, and we're going to get the 4 of Hearts. So you can go ahead and narrate that. The game's a little bit unclear on who narrates what, so we're going to let players narrate successes and failures tonight.
So I rush, I just speed over in his direction and wrench the sword from his hands and basically kick him in the direction of the demon in an attempt to knock both of them over, to if that's possible.
Oh boy, well he stumbles into the circle, and luckily he doesn't disrupt the salt. But the second he touches the demon, she gives him a kiss. She pulls his hair, grabs him by the back of his, his hair, on the back of his head, and dips him, and gives him a kiss, and he just flames up. I mean, he just completely catches on fire. And she continues to kiss him while he's burning. And he's screaming with this muffled, he's trying to scream. And you can see, she's also, biting his tongue and lips, and his blood coming, off of his chin and running down his neck. But he's also on fire. And he's screaming, and she spits his tongue out and laughs. And his burning corpse falls to the ground. And she turns over and she licks her lips. And, of course, now his blood's running down her chin. And she goes, that tasted just like your man Bartholomew, she says.
You harlot. You harlot. How dare you? How dare you?
What are you
How dare you?
What are you going to do about it?
I'll claw your eyes out, you harlot, slutty demon bitch! And Orchid rushes towards her and spits in her face.
Well, I think that's a great idea. I know that you don't have, any. I know you don't have any fighting ability. You've also got this really long train, so I think we're going to have you draw a card to see if you can do this and actually spit in her face. Because as we all know, you're a virgin, and the spittle of a virgin should hurt the demon. Now, whether it kills the demon or what, we don't know. But you also have this long train, and we don't want to disrupt the assault either. So we're now drawing a card for you, and you just have a normal chance here. There's no boon or anything that's going to help. So you need a face card or joker, and we have the 5 of spades. So your spittle goes wild, and in your insanity, you rush across, and the train of your wedding gown disrupts the salt, and the salt is broken, and she goes, ha! And suddenly she just poofs out of existence. And you don't know where she's gone.
That bitch.
Yeah, you don't know what's happened to her.
Well, I don't think she was real. I think she just I think we all collectively then he looks down at the corpse of Erasmus, the sort of charred corpse of Erasmus, and he's like, oh well, I guess I've got some things to think about here.
I guess you do. Now here's the thing, the demon cannot just freeform float. The demon's gotta demon's gotta take a body. You know this from your occult knowledge, Orchid. They can go into an animal, or even an inanimate object, or a person. And so, I don't know. Do you think one of you might be possessed?
It is likely that she has possessed another body.
Well,
She would not just disappear or go back to where she came from.
Well, she
It is
killed.
likely it could be one of us. It could be anything.
She killed the one. She killed Erasmus, right? So, I think. I mean, maybe she's just like, well, that's enough for one day, and she just fucked off.
Now, Chadwick actually was cowering in the corner, not even watching, but now that it's over, he's, standing up, and he says, now you sound like you're trying to say that this demon is just, vanished, completely gone, but an Orchid was saying that it might have possessed someone. And, well, for once I can say that it wasn't me. So...
You're not feeling any urges to visit the local brothel?
No, certainly not. It's the last thing from my mind. I'm just glad we survived, well, most of us anyways.
We need to find her. We can't just let her go.
Well, she could be anywhere, though. She could be in a bird, or a wolf, or a fox, or an
Perhaps
ostrich.
we should kill everything we see until she's dead.
Madam, I think that's rather harsh. I think rather rash.
You
Ooh,
dare call me rash?
I don't have a rash. I didn't even get to kick her in the balls.
Well,
I've got a rash, but I say that's from the prostitutes, unfortunately.
Ooh, you want me to kick you in the balls?
that might help.
I do not. I think you should kindly stay far away from my balls.
Well, here's what I wonder as Game Master is, if one of you were possessed, how would we know it? And I know that Orchid has a lot of occult knowledge. Orchid, let's dip into your occult knowledge here. How can you tell if someone is possessed? Would they have any weaknesses, or would they share the demon's weaknesses? Or?
Yes, they would definitely share the demon's weaknesses, which means that they would react to my saliva.
Well,
Well, come here and
So
give
I
me a
shall
big old
spit
kiss.
on both of my companions.
now hold on. I'm rather averse to being spit on. And I mean, I have never enjoyed female spittle or any such gender spitting on me. This has nothing to do
You
with possession.
Well, so you're telling me that you paid them prostitutes and you didn't even have them spit on you?
Well, not on me. Certain things needed lubrication, I would say.
Okay. Okay.
I was just going straight for the degradation, not the lubrication, but fair enough.
Well, if you're going to get a serious, degradation, you probably need some lubrication. But it sounds like, our friend Chadwick does not want to be lubricated with virgin spit. But I feel like, there was some crosstalk, but I'm pretty sure I heard. God, what's your freaking name again? Percival. I'm pretty sure I heard Percival just ask for a kiss.
Yeah.
Full-on
I mean, I
kiss.
was mostly joking, but I thought it would be,
Yeah.
Well,
that would be one way to get some
a very
spit.
ladylike kiss on the cheek.
Okay.
That would only be
Does it
proper.
have a lot of spit?
I don't burn it. I don't burn it all.
I'm gonna lick
I
my
don't know
lips
how
first.
scientific this is.
All right. Well, Orchid licks her lips and gives Percival a nice big, juicy, wet, spitty kiss on the cheek because she's a lady.
Give him the tongue. Oh,
Well, that's
No.
uncharacteristically.
no.
Yeah.
I was joking. Now,
All right.
yes, a ladylike peck. Fine.
I'll tell you what.
course.
I don't burn at all. My cheek is fine.
Oh, well.
This one is clean.
Now, I believe, being an old-fashioned gentleman, that the man should do the kissing. So, if you don't mind,
Is the man a virgin?
well, you know I'm not. I have a
Why
wife.
did you wasted a bunch of money?
No, even if I had not been unfaithful, I do have a wife, and she can tell you that the lights are off, so I guess she couldn't tell you exactly. But
Well, you do have a son, right? A child of some kind.
we do have a young boy. I believe he's my son. No, yes, he's my son.
Well, are
Yes,
you
it's
willing
all-
to?
It's verified and documented that I have a wife and a child, and I'm not a virgin. And I've been with prostitutes. Not proud of it,
Then,
but
if you don't have virgin saliva, then what do you suppose a kiss to me will tell you?
well, I just think it's inappropriate for a woman to kiss a man.
Well, I quite agree, but these are extenuating circumstances.
I could hit him with the sword.
Now listen here. Okay, how about I propose something? How about I just motorboat you in the cleavage? You slut!
Okay, Chadwick seems uncharacteristically crude all of a sudden. Are you really trying to go over there and do it?
Yes, he lurches at her.
Okay, well, he lunges at you, trying to motorboat you. And what do you do, Orchid?
How dare you! And I start slapping at him and spitting on him.
Yeah, I'm going to
Same
swing my
time.
sword at him, but in a non-lethal
Right.
type of way.
Okay. Well, yeah, you All you really got to do is kind of touch him with a sword, and you spit on him. And when she spits in your face, when the sword like touches the side of your neck, and there's this searing, sizzling sound as the sword touches the flesh. And when Orchid spits in your face, Chadwick, your whole face just blisters up, and you all can tell Chadwick has obviously been possessed, and Chadwick, you can't. I guess I'm playing Firiel, and Firiel's not going to stand here and continue to be spat upon with virgin spit and potentially stabbed with a sword. And being possessed as you are, Chadwick, you flee the scene and run out into the night, out into the rain, and stumble through the graveyard. And I don't know what you guys will do. What would you do? Would you chase the demon into the night?
Well, yeah, of course. I've got to kick her in his balls.
All right, now, unfortunately, Chadwick still has the gun, right? He's still got the gun with the... But, so you guys run out into the night. Again, it's pouring down rain, so you very quickly become drenched, And you can see with supernatural speed, though. Chadwick's already way down at, like, the iron fence around the edge of the whole graveyard, which is up on kind of a lonely hill, and down below the hill in the valley is the town of Sourshire, and he's already pretty far away. I assume you guys go chasing him, and it's hard to see, of course. There's like blinding rain. You can see a bit of the lights of the town, but you can still just barely make out the shadow of his body, and he stumbles and falls and rolls down the hill a little bit. You guys go chasing him, and you finally get to the bottom of the hill, and Chadwick is laying there. And Chadwick, you're no longer possessed. The demon has left you and gone into something else for the moment. But you might have to convince your friends of that. So here you are. You're at the bottom of the hill. The village, the town is not that far away from you. 100 feet or so. You got the hill with the graveyard behind you, and it's pouring down rain. And Chadwick's lying on the ground. And what do you guys do?
Well, since obviously we don't know that he's no longer possessed.
No, you don't.
So, Percival's gonna run up to him and heave the sword high up over his head as though he were going to imminently decapitate this person.
Imminent chop.
No! It's an imminent chop.
It's an imminent chop. It's a cutoff. Anyway, so he raises the sword up over your head. Meanwhile, what are you doing, Orchid?
As soon as Orchid sees him, she just launches at him, slapping and spitting and screaming.
Okay.
You son of a bitch! You bitch! You slut harpy! How dare you! How dare you! And she just goes full wig out on him.
No, ma'am. Please.
Yeah, now, Chadwick, you don't know what happened. You blacked out the second, earlier, and now you find yourself laying in the rain, or the Percival looks like he's going to cut your head off, and Orchid's all over you, spitting on you, clawing on you.
I'm dreaming. I'm having a nightmare. Wake me up.
And you can see that your spittle seems to be having no further effect on him, and he's behaving very cowardly.
Wait.
Oh, I was about to cut your fucking head off.
Please don't.
Well, his skin is no longer sizzling.
No, it's not.
Perhaps the demon has fled, like the cowardly slut that she is.
You hear a bunch of dogs
and
barking.
Now we're going to have to hunt this bitch down.
Well, you hear a bunch of dogs barking down in the village, and there's a pack of them that's running out up towards you. And they stop. These are like just village dogs, Some of them are like little cute dogs, but some of them are pretty big. And they're all looking at you, and they've just got a strange glow in their eyes, and saliva's bubbling on their lips, and they're growling. And you start to get the terrible feeling this whole pack of dogs might be possessed. And then suddenly the dogs just launch themselves at you. Just rush your position. And you guys are obviously going to have to get away somehow. I'll let you narrate how. But now I think that Percival should have a boon on this. And so Percival is just going to need to draw a number card or a joker to get away. And he's got a 7. We'll let you guys narrate how you do it in a minute. However, the rest of you don't have those benefits. So you're going to need a face card or a joker. And it looks like Orchid got lucky. She's got a face card here with the King of Hearts. And Chadwick, meanwhile, has unfortunately drawn a number card. And so Chadwick falls victim to the dogs. But you get to narrate. Now, there's no like hit points in this system or even any guidelines on what would kill a person or anything. It's supposed to be very narrative. But Percival, when the dog pack assaults you guys, how does Percival get away?
Well, Percival is going to run back to the mausoleum, but before he does that, or as he's doing that, he's just going to start, lopping heads off dogs as they come.
Oh, yeah.
Get as many as he can before 100% like full speed retreating.
Oh yeah. So like just dog heads flying left and right as Percival lays into them with the sword. Poor little dogs. The families of these dogs are going to be very upset. When they come out after the storm and find their dogs' heads laying all over the front of the gate of the graveyard. And he takes off back towards the mausoleum. Meanwhile, how did Orchid manage to escape, or I won't say escape the pack of dogs, I'll say triumph in this particular challenge? How does she do that?
Well, first, she's going to land a giant loogie on the biggest one.
And it just...
And then she's going to hightail it after Percival.
Okay. All right. But meanwhile, Chadwick, you find yourself, you were already on the ground, so now they've run off. This pack of dogs is like all over you. But why don't you describe what that's like? And you're obviously going to be hurt somehow, but you get to narrate how, and possibly if you get away.
So, I was going to say that he had started to try to crawl away, and some dogs bit onto his pant legs, and they're like shaking, how they do when they get a hold of something, they start shaking violently.
Yeah.
So they're tearing his pants, and like he's still crawling, so hopefully, while he's, and some of the teeth I have to say are, breaking skin and stuff as well.
Sure,
so he is hurt, but he's crawling, he's making progress, crawling out of his pants.
Yeah.
And so that's what he's going to try to do, is while they're, have their grip, they're biting his pant legs, he's making his way out of his trousers.
Okay, so yeah, you're pantsless at this point, and the dogs are, your calves and maybe parts of your thighs are all like bitten up and clawed up, and you're bleeding. But you're not wearing any pants, but you're running up the hill. Are you following your friends, like running back to the mausoleum?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, they tear up your pants for a while, and then like one of the dogs howls, and they all like run back down towards the town of Sourshire. Meanwhile, you guys are already in the mausoleum, and Chadwick comes running in with no pants. And what kind of underclothes was he wearing? This is the 1920s. Did they even have briefs in the 1920s? Was it all boxers, or even, I don't know. We'll have to do some research on 1920s undergarments.
I can kind of picture boxer shorts.
Yeah, I can kind of picture that too. Yeah. So he comes rushing back in, pantsless. Okay, so now you're back out of the rain. You're in the mausoleum. You can see the disturbed salt circle and your pentagram and the charred body of Erasmus de Rip. And what do you guys do now?
My gun was in my pants. we'll have to retrieve. We'll have to try to retrieve my gun if we want to have a chance. I mean, suppose this demon goes from dog to something else. Our only chance is to fire this gun. Now, didn't this... Oh, I don't know if we actually knew if Erasmus had a gun. I know we, as players, knew, but I don't know if our characters knew that.
Well, you could rifle
really...
his... You can
Yeah,
rifle
I guess
his
we could.
charred body, and you quickly realize he didn't. He just had the sword,
Oh.
which now is Percival's.
Oh, okay, that's right. You had made it a sword instead of a gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, didn't the dogs all didn't they all run off?
The dogs-
So we should be able to go get the gun, yeah?
We should. The dogs have run off to Sourshire. I'm afraid we'll have to enter the town. And but I hope that we can retrieve the gun on the way. They should not be there unless they've run off with my pants. I don't know. I just ran away as soon as I could.
Well,
Well, let's hope that your pants are intact enough that you can put them back on. This is quite very improper.
Yes, I agree, but I believe my pants were pretty much shredded. It wouldn't be much good to wear these rags around. At least these boxes are intact.
well, let's. I guess we're gonna go back out into the rain then, right? Back out into the thunderstorm, and you make your way back through the graveyard to the bottom of the hill outside the gate, and the dogs are gone, and the tattered shreds of your pants are there, and you can see your revolver. It's lying there, and
Oh, good.
is intact. The pants, of course, are, even if you wanted to wear shredded pants, it's not even possible. And now you're at the edge of the village, pretty much. There's one building that's a little further, a little closer to you, because it's kind of at the edge of Sourshire, which is obviously a blacksmith shop. You can tell that. And the lights are on. There's commotion in the town. You can hear a few screams from inside the town. The dogs have stopped barking. But the blacksmith has come out right under the right at the edge of the night. He hasn't gone out into the rain, but he's still underneath. He's opened his door and he's holding the lantern up. He's still wearing his night clothes, like Ebenezer Scrooge with his little hat, and nightgown. He's holding the lantern out. He's like, "What's all this then? What's all this commotion? What goes on here? And who are you with no pants? And who are you dressed as if you're going to a wedding? And oh, hello, Percival."
Yeah, well, hello. So, we've got a little minor, sort of, problem.
Oh, problem.
Yeah. So, how I didn't really believe in anything.
Yes, I did.
Like a few hours ago.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Now I kind of believe in something.
Oh, well, you've got some apologies to make to the vicar at the church. you really ruined that Easter feast last year, and it was really an embarrassment. But, well, what do you believe in? I mean, what has happened here? On a night like this, it could be anything.
Well, and I look at Chadwick and Orchid kind of back and forth as though, should I just tell him,
Yes, a demon whore.
A demon
Succubi.
What?
Yes.
This.
She is.
I'm sorry.
She has done horrible things to all of us, and we came to get our revenge on her.
Oh, my.
And she killed one of our companions, claims to have killed my fiancé in the exact same manner, and then she possessed our dear friend Chadwick here, and after she possessed your dogs, and then ripped Chadwick to bits. Well, at least his pants.
Well, I don't now. Maybe I'm the nihilist. I don't know if I can believe all this. Now, the house next door. Suddenly, there's some screams happening in the house right next door to his. There's this screaming of a woman, high-pitched screaming of a woman, and some screaming of some kids in the house. And what's this fresh business? I'm this is enough for me, he says, and he begins backing up to close his door. But go ahead, Percival.
Yeah, that'll be the demon that we, in the interest of full disclosure, sort of summoned.
Well, if you summon the demon, you better summon it back or dismiss it. Whatever you've got to do.
We shall kill it.
We are attempting to locate it, and yes, to kill it once and for all.
I must get to my prayers.
Send it back to hell.
I'll get to my prayers. You do what needs to be doing. And he slams his door. You can hear him like bolting sliding the bolt closed and locking himself in the house. Meanwhile, the people are still screaming in the house next door. You can see there's a little sign above the door. It's like the town notary, Mr. Bobbert. It says town notary. And something terrible is happening inside Mr. Bobbert's house.
The demon is in there.
Well, I'm going to go kick it in the balls then. I've been wanting to kick it in the balls this whole time, and I haven't gotten too round to it, so I'm going to run over there and kick it in the balls.
I'll be right behind you.
Okay, well, you rush up to the door, and you see the door's actually like a little bit open, right? You don't even have to kick it in. But when you push the door open, you look in a scene of absolute horror because Mr. Bobbert, the notary, he's inside hacking up his family with an axe. I mean, he's almost got them all now. There's like the wife's like trying to crawl out of the room, and he comes in and he buries it right in her back, severs the spine. I'm not even going to describe the other scenes of horror that are all over this room, but there's like blood all over the walls. There's more blood than really are in human bodies. It's like a Sam Raimi, level of blood in here. And the place is drenched in Caro syrup, right? But it is just horrific. And Mr. Bobbert turns around and he goes, I guess you should have been a little quicker then, huh? And what do you guys do?
I kick him in the balls.
All right. So you run up and
Chadwick,
you kick him in the balls. What's Chadwick do?
He is not right behind Percival. He is currently running in the opposite direction.
Okay.
Out of cowardice.
Chadwick! Get back here with that gun! Get back here with that gun!
Right behind you.
So you're running right out of the town. I'm right behind you. Meanwhile, you run over. I'm not going to make you roll to kick the guy in the balls, right? But you go up and kick him in the balls, and it's just like no effect registers on him at all because obviously he's possessed. And he just goes that weird giggle again. And what do you do? What do you do, Orchid?
All right, well, Orchid, it's going to look a little strange. Orchid is going to suck on both of her hands so that her fingernails are now weapons too. And she's going to continue her wildly crazy assault of just clawing and spitting and you harlot, fiance, stealer, friend, killing, possessing, demon, bitch, and you made us kill cute little dogs, and I'm going to kill you.
Well, since
and I'm just gonna start just slap,
Since you
like
actually can do damage with your virgin spit slap fight. Virgin spit slap fight. There's a name for something, right? Right.
It's like I'm going to order that on pay-per-view.
If any listener out there would like to invent a 2-page RPG or a 1-page RPG called Virgin Spit Slap Fight, we will play it. Okay. we might actually have to make that. But
definitely
more downloads on that than any other episode we've ever done. You watch. But because you can actually hurt the demon, right? Go ahead. We're going to have you go ahead and make your combat draw card. Unfortunately, you have no real fighting skill. You are going to need a face card or a joker in order to. And what we have here, we have the King of Diamonds. So Mr. Bobbert screams as your fingernails, dig into his face and flesh, and it burns. and then suddenly he's like, and shakes his head as if he's come out of it. You hear a cat going, and the cat looks at you and goes, and like rushes out the door into the night. And you realize the demon's gone into the cat. And Mr. Barber says, "What's happening here?" "Oh, heavenly God!" As he sees what has happened, he looks and he sees that the axe is in his own hands, and he drops it, and he himself runs screaming out into the night. "What have I done? What have I done?" And that leaves you guys staying, So now let's go ahead and cut over to Chadwick, who's run off into the village.
Yeah, I just would I think it would be funny if, as he's running off and the cat is running off, while he's running, he's looking over and he's seeing this cat, and it's obviously possessed, and so maybe it winks at him or something.
Yeah, the cat does wink at you. Yeah.
Now he starts running the opposite direction, back towards his companions.
Well, you turn and run in the opposite direction, but coming out from behind one building is a gentleman with looks like he's hurriedly dressed. His tie's not quite right, and his hat's on lopsided, but with him are two constables. They've got those high, Bobby-style British helmets, and you run right into them. "Come here, you!" And I'm the Lord Mayor here, Godwin Fisk. Grab him, boys. God. Get him. All right. What's all this then? What's all this? And are you guys coming out too? And if you do come out, the first thing you're going to see is, the Lord Mayor of the town, and he's got two constables have got Chadwick. "What's this then? Aha! I see here." And he pulled out, he takes the gun out of your pocket.
That is... dogs were after me, and then a cat. Dogs and cats are running wild in this town. You've got to help us.
I think you're mad. You're balmy. That's what you are. And then you two have come up.
He's not mad. He's Chad. Hello, Chad.
Oh, I won't have any wordplay from you, Percival. I don't know why. Everybody already knows Percival in this town, I guess, But and what of you, madam? You have not dressed appropriately for the evening.
I'm dressed appropriately to be reunited with my fiancé, who was taken by a demon who appeared somehow.
Not
by summoning, certainly.
No.
But she appeared somehow.
Yeah,
in the graveyard.
It was random.
She possessed a friend. She possessed a pack of dogs. Then she possessed the poor notary here, who slaughtered his entire family. And then she jumped into the cat and ran out into the rain.
This woman is insane. Look,
I'm not insane.
Well, one of the constables.
How dare you?
One of the constables walks up to the Barbert house and looks inside, and lurches.
You don't want to do that.
He lurches over and vomits into the bushes. Oh, rookie. Yeah. No, this is terrible indeed. I will have to place you all under arrest until we figure this out. This is terrible.
It was the dogs. The dogs, the rabid dogs running wild.
Well, that was the first report we got. That's why I've been roused in the middle of the night. The dogs were on a rampage. You're saying the dogs have killed. First you say demon dogs. I don't know what to do. I think the safest thing to do is just arrest all of you.
I am an upstanding citizen.
You're not wearing pants, sir.
Well, yes, that is true. But you can see that I have no criminal record. I was only let off with a warning for the prostitutes. I am a very upstanding citizen, and I assure you, this woman here is insane. Don't worry about such talk as demons and all that. What you have here are dogs on the loose, and we would like to help you catch them, but please don't take us to jail.
Well, it's very wet out here, and I'm tired of getting rained on, so somebody's going to jail. But Percival, you were raised in this town. I know you don't believe in any of this nonsense. You tell me the truth. What's happening here?
Well, we definitely did. There was no demon summoning or anything of that sort. I should also point out that Chadwick is definitely wearing pants, because that's what we British call underwear. We would refer to what Americans call pants as trousers.
Very well, very well. It's just like with disappearing accent, and we don't have all our nomenclature worked out for everything. But so
That was just for any UK listeners.
right.
That we might
If we have any UK listeners, we lost them at
Yeah, I was
Southwark
gonna say.
or Sourshire, or Sourshire, however they would say it. Maybe Dave Mitchell, creator of The Hateful Place, can correct us on our, because we dumb Americans, we don't know how to talk no British accent or British words. They just done speaking everything wrong.
Barely talk Southern.
Well,
Speak
so
American, motherfucker.
you're telling me, Percival, there's no demon. Is that correct? You say you didn't summon a demon.
No, well,
Certainly not.
there might have been a bit of a misunderstanding.
A misunderstanding involving a demon?
Well, I didn't believe it would actually get summoned.
You're saying that a demon was summoned?
Which it didn't. It appeared. It came to taunt me with what it did to my lover. And then not my lover, my fiance. Excuse me, I'm a very proper lady. I've never had a lover. You can tell. Anyway, then she also brutally slayed. We had another companion.
Oh.
We had a fourth person with
Who's
us.
that?
Erasmus.
Erasmus DeRip? Oh, this suddenly makes more sense. He's a known degenerate, rumored to be a sorcerer. I thought it was rumors all these long years. Well.
If any summoning was actually done, it was done by him and him alone.
Well, we did a bit of a chant.
You did.
No.
Well,
I thought it was just like, I thought we were just like...
He thought it was
like a pep talk.
innocent a children's game or something. Just,
It's like Ring Around the Roses.
yeah, just a rhyme, just for fun. Didn't think it was real.
Boys, he says to the constables, we'd better go about and the village and warn everyone to stay indoors, because people are up and down the main village street. They're opening their front doors, looking out into the night to see what's happening, and rubbernecking, as people do when there's trouble with the popo. And he says, listen, messing with DeRip was a terrible mistake, but his manor house is just over there. Perhaps, if he truly was able to summon a demon, perhaps there's some key, some answer within his manor. Perhaps you should go there. I know he's a collector of many antiquities, and perhaps there could be something there. I'm going to get this village locked down, and then we're going to do a door-to-door hunt for the demon. Why don't you see if you can find something to aid us in that, since you're such experts on demons?
Yes. I assume he has an extra pair of pants there, so I believe it is wise for
Trousers.
us, trousers to
Yes.
to go to this manor house and get out the rain, and maybe we'll find some clue on how to defeat this demon Firiel.
Yeah, because obviously you guys now know that, DeRip never planned to defeat Firiel, so if he had known, of something that would really work, he didn't share it with you. But maybe there is something. Maybe there is something in his manner. So, of course, you could go around on the door-to-door search. Could be there's nothing in DeRip's manor, but when he gestured to it, it's just a little ways outside of town, to the north of town, but not too terribly far. The rain is starting to slack off a little bit. It's not quite so driving as it was. But as you walk closer to DeRip's manor house, the front door, of course, is locked. He probably has a housekeeper or something, but there's no lights on inside. And you guys could try to just kick in the front door if you wanted to, and or break a window, or how would you like to try to get in? Or knock. I don't know.
We don't need to use brute force. We're not brutes. We'll find a more sophisticated way to inside, I believe.
Okay. I guess there probably is one of those, those rope hanging, hanging rope bells, covered in velvet outside the door as well.
Yes.
Well, I think while my companions are fooling around with niceties, I'm going to look for a nice brick or rock to throw through a window.
Well, he's got some paving stones down by the garden, where he's got some petunias growing in front of the house. Would you like to pick up paving stones and throw it through the front window?
I would.
Okay. Well, it shatters. You hear a woman scream inside, and you can see now there's holding a lantern is a older woman, like a housekeeper. She's in her night clothes. She's come down and sees you, sees you three standing outside. You're probably a pretty scary sight, standing outside her house, and that's where we'll go ahead and stop for tonight. Next time we'll go into the manor of Erasmus de Rip and see if we can find anything at all that could help. Not just to hurt a demon. We know we've established that virgin spit will hurt it. Probably the sword would hurt it. But how do we defeat it once and for all? We'll have to find that out. And so we will next time.
Perhaps a nice exorcism.
Yep. We'll do a nice little exorcism maybe next time.
Same Dean style exorcism.
Or banishment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, he did say that he had quite a few, occult books and things like that, and he'd done a lot of research. He'd made a deal with her before, obviously. He tried to get out of his bargain by giving her your souls, and that has failed. So next time on Goonies World, we will see what it's like inside the De Rip Manor, and then we'll find out where this demon is in the town. Could be in anybody or any animal. Could be a long search. The demon could come to you. We don't know. So our listeners will just have to wait a week and see what happens on Horrid Mystery.
Hey everybody, if you like our podcast, don't forget to leave us a good rating and or review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify, or wherever you're able. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at Goonies_world, and check out our website at GooniesWorldPodcast.com. Email us at GooniesWorldPodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.